Greetings, YouTube. Mandarin has decided to join us today. My friend Orla-Jo from Orla-Jo Not Dead did a video I saw this week about essentially her year in review of 2014. And it got me thinking about my year in review. I don't know if I've done one of these in the past or not, but I think 2014, for me, has been a year of peeling back the veil, of drawing back the curtain and seeing the little man behind the illusion. And it's been on a personal level. I've peeled back more of the issues that I've had and gotten more to the root causes. My anxiety level is much lower today than it was a year ago today. My depression is essentially almost gone, which is nice. So I consider that a very valuable growth curve. But also, there have been many things that have hit my personal awareness. They've made it onto the radar for me in a way that they hadn't in the past. Now, I wasn't completely ignorant of the problems that America is currently experiencing and the world at large is experiencing. I understand their underlying structures to some degree. I always have. But I've become more aware of things. And I think it's a matter of me simply becoming aware of things that were always present and not deluding myself into thinking they were better than they are. And as my anxiety levels go down, it gives me the mental headspace to do this. It gives me the mental room to breathe and to see the world around me. Because anxiety, at least the way it's been for me, is a very selfish experience. It very much is all about me, me, me. Everything in the universe that goes wrong is personal. Everything that happens is a slight against me. From a street light that doesn't turn when I want it to some rude driver, to a broken piece of equipment, it was very narrow-minded. It was very much egocentric. And I've been trying to become aware of those egocentric traits and push them to the side, to eliminate them, to shrink my ego as much as possible. It's not completely gone, mind you. I don't think it ever will be. I'm human. But I'd like to get it under more control and have it be in a better context in comparison to the world around me. But I think the aspect that really hit me most was the injustices in America when it comes to discrimination and prejudice and bigotry. For some reason, this year has been one where it's become very evident about how the system is inherently slanted against minorities, against the poor, against the gay community. And I think in particular the last, as more and more states gain same-sex marriage rights, all of the excuses become threadbare. Everything that people have used as the justification to prevent it now looks even more absurd than it was before. And I think that's one of the reasons that I have become more aware of this, because I've come to realize that all of the excuses that justify the institutionalized classism and racism and bigotry in America, all of them are threadbare and absurd. And yet they've existed for centuries, and they're being supported by a shrinking minority of extremely loud, terrified, white, straight people, mostly males. I've come to believe that if men would simply stop harassing and assaulting and killing people, that we would be better off. Because almost all the perpetrators I see out there have that one thing in common. They're men. And that makes me angry, and it makes me ashamed, and it makes me sad. Because a whole lot of men don't want to see that. A whole lot of men want to make excuses whole lot of men want to say, well, that's just the way it is. I read something the other day about a troop of baboons in Africa. There was a water source that had become tainted with tuberculosis, and all of the baboons that had drunk from that water source, the majority of them, had been the alpha males, because they got first rights at everything, because they were the alpha males. So essentially in this troop, all the alpha males died. Poof, overnight. All of the leaders of this troop disappeared. And the males that were left had always been more cooperative, because that's how they functioned, that's how they survived, because they weren't the alpha males. And no new alpha males arose. The more cooperative members of the society remained cooperative. And 20 years later, that culture of that troop is the same. And new males have entered who tried to play the alpha male role, and the culture of the troop showed them, we're not going to have that. And these wannabe alpha males modified their behavior and became cooperative members of the troop. Now, if a troop of baboons, sentient, barely sapient, can modify their behavior in one generation to create a more cooperative, less violent culture, why can't we? What is preventing us from doing that? And the astute among you will have probably figured out by now, I think it's the alpha males in our species. And I don't know how to communicate to them that you need to stop behaving this way. You need to be more cooperative. You need to be better examples for those who are coming up in the ranks. Because if a baboon troop can be less violent and more cooperative, we should be able to be less violent and more cooperative. And I don't know how to speak to the alpha males to get them to understand that, to become convinced of it. I'm open to suggestions. But that has been one of the things that I've been pondering for months now. And I've finally come to realize what I see as one of the problems we have with our species. And that's it. So maybe next year I'll have a better understanding. I'm sorry. She's having a difficult time getting comfortable. I can't really fault her for that because she's trying to rest on the top of my head. But I guess it's appropriate that we end this particular video with Mandarin being adorable and smacking me in the head with her tail, because at least it ends on a cute note. It makes me smile. And I suppose if I can end a year smiling with a cat warming my skull, things can't all be bad.